Okay, hi everyone. Thanks very much for joining today, for joining this webinar. So I'm just going to start off with a presentation. And I hope you joined the right webinar. This is on JiraOps and Ops Genie. And today I'm going to be talking about how you can improve your incident management with Atlassian ITSM tools. So I'll be talking about not only JiraOps and Ops Genie, but I'll be going into some of the integrations, some of the add-ons that we can use there, and how we can really make it a good process using the Atlassian stack. So my name's Steven Meadows. I'm a pre-sales engineer. I've been working for eCore for over a year now, and I'm certified in Jira Agile Development with Jira Software and also project administration too. I've had quite a bit of experience with ITSM, so I'm looking forward to presenting this webinar today for you guys. So I just want to start today with the agenda. So there's going to be an introduction to eCore. So I'll be going over the timeline of eCore, what we actually offer, and how we can help you guys out. Then I'm going to be talking about a good incident management approach. Some of the tools like JiraOps, Ops Genie, Slack, Status Page, and a whole host of other apps and add-ons. So I'll be also going in depth about those tools in the overview as well after the incident management approach. And then I'll be going over some practical demonstrations in the tools themselves. And then finally, you'll be able to ask some questions and I'll be answering those at the end too. So feel free to ask your questions in the chat in the admin panel of GoToMeeting. And then at the end, I'll be answering those. And if we don't have enough time, feel free to send me an email or contact eCore and we can discuss further then. Okay, so I'm just going to crack on, guys. Sorry for the delay there. Okay, so let's talk about eCore. I won't spend too long on this, but I just want to give you an idea of what we actually do. So we're an Atlassian Platinum Solution Partner, and we deliver Atlassian consulting. So practices consulting, process design, and the actual implementation of the Atlassian tools themselves. And we have a particular focus on ALM, so application lifecycle management, development operations, as well as IT service management. As I mentioned, we're a Platinum Solution Partner, and we're also a certified training partner as well. So we have offices in North and South America. In North America, we have offices in White Plains. That's where we're predominantly located. We also have offices in Atlanta and Tampa. And we also have a couple of bigger offices in Brazil, in Sao Paulo and Porto Alegre. So here's a timeline on eCore. So we started using Jira in 2004 internally, and we really liked the solution. Then we became Atlassian experts. So we had a partnership with Atlassian in 2006. We opened our White Plains office in New York in 2006 as well. And then we became an official Atlassian Platinum Solution Partner in 2011. So there's a yearly kind of summit and celebration, revealing software, new apps and things like that at the Atlassian Summit. And we first attended that in 2011. And we were just one of the few exclusive partners to actually attend that event. And we go each year as well. So 2015, we became an Atlassian Enterprise Solution Partner. We deal with a lot of enterprise level implementations and installations. 2017, we became certified Atlassian training partner. And then in 2018, we moved to a much larger office in White Plains. So here are just some numbers on our Atlassian expertise. So we've served over 25 industries, over 250 clients. We have over 120 dedicated resources that use the Atlassian stack. We have a pretty decent customer satisfaction rating there. Generally, it's 9 out of 10. And we've been a partner now for over 12 years. And we value certificates amongst our consultants. So we have over 35 certificates spread amongst our consultants. So you know that they're very qualified to actually implement the Atlassian stack. Cool. Okay, so that's just the introduction to eCore out of the way there. Now I'm just going to discuss, a decent incident management approach, a generic approach as well, just to start this topic and webinar off. So incident management, so the Atlassian Stack actually helps with incident management a lot. It helps to lower the incident MTTR. So MTTR is a mean time to resolution. You don't want a long service outage times because it can really impact customers. It can cost a lot of money, so we really want to lower this. And the Atlassian Stack helps us do this. You want to be able to communicate clearly as well. So you want to make sure that customer communication is good during the service disruptions. We want to make sure that we can collaborate effectively across the tools as well. So as it says here, we want to break down any barriers so that we can resolve the incidents quicker. And then finally, and this is a point that we see a lot of customers not actually really looking at or placing importance on, sharing and learning. So we need to learn from the incidents, we need to find the root cause of the incidents, and we need to make sure that it doesn't happen over and over again. And again, the Atlassian Stack helps us to actually share and learn from these incidents, and I'll be going into details of how. Okay, so I touched on mean time to resolution. So here we have an image, obviously there's an issue with the website, and then the website's down. So there are four main areas that are involved in the actual resolution of incidents. So the first step here is we need to identify and communicate the incident. So we really need to see what's going on. We need to alert the relevant IT teams. We need to alert the relevant stakeholders, so external or internal customers. We need to make them aware. So the second step is to actually investigate and diagnose the incident. We need to find out what's going on. We need to diagnose the issue. We need to see what areas it impacted, etc. Then we need to resolve and recover. So how do we actually resolve? How can we log this in a system as well? And then finally, as I mentioned earlier, a critical piece there is learning and improving from the incidents that we have. Okay, so I'm just going to continue from this screen here. There's a bit of an issue there with the slideshow. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so carrying on, I'm going to go into the tools overview now. So I'm just going to give you an idea of what the actual tools can do for us and how they can help out in or during an incident. So the first tool that I want to talk about, and I'm going to be going into details over, is Jira Service Desk. So Jira Service Desk has been around for a while. There's a customer portal there. It allows our agents to actually action tickets that come in from customers. We're able to automate a lot of tasks, which really helps us to save time. And we can also classify urgent issues in order to increase IT team awareness. So you're also able to organize your queues. So it could be for a department, it could be for individuals. It's very configurable. They're also powerful at SLA, so you can really keep on track of your or on top of your issues at hand and the tickets that are received. And as I mentioned, there's a very cool customer portal where your clients can actually put in your incidents or requests, etc. So it's not just incident management with Jira Service Desk. There are also other ITIL processes. You have problem management, you've got change management, and you also have service request management. It's actually issued there too. So JiraOps, which is a new craze that everyone's talking about, this is really just centralized incident management. So where Jira Service Desk, you're relying on a lot of different applications and add-ons, which aren't really centralized, which we'll be going over shortly. In JiraOps, we have all of the integrations really centralized and very easily tied to your original ticket. So if we look here on the right, we have the Slack integration here, status page, and Ops Genie. So it's really just one centralized place in your ticket that you can go to get all of the current information on your incident. So in addition to the actual centralization of incident information, we also have postmortems or postmortem creation within JiraOps, which again helps us actually learn from our incidents and find the root cause too. And there's a very nifty timeline where all of the updates that we actually bring into the application appear. So we've had a quick look at Jira Service Desk, JiraOps. Status page, so this is another web application associated in the cloud. Your customers are able to subscribe to status updates so they can keep on track of everything. We can put in the latest operational or not operation modules within your company here too, and we have a very good graph too of downtime, and we'll be going over that shortly. And we also have the history of incident alerts as well. So it's a very useful app that should definitely be used in all incidents. Slack, so HipChat is being discontinued by Atlassian, and there's a partnership with Slack for a cloud solution. So this should also be an integral part of your incident management solution. You know, your teams need to be able to talk to each other about what's going on and how they can resolve the issue. And we're able to tie this into JiraOps too, and I'll be going over how we can actually do that shortly. The next app that I just want to talk about is Ops Genie. So this complements both Jira Service Desk and JiraOps very well. So the thing that's lacking in those apps is a real, actionable and reliable alerting system. With Ops Genie, you can put in on-call team management, kind of schedules and rotas, and we can escalate to if nobody acknowledges an alert that actually goes through. So it's also a very service-aware incident management system, and it ties in neatly. So Confluence as well. So we can create our post-incident reviews or post-mortems in Confluence, and this is where we can store all of our content too. So it's a content management system. We can also potentially put in their knowledge base articles as well. But again, for this particular webinar, we're going to be focusing on post-mortems and post-incident reviews in Confluence. So that's just an idea of some of the applications and add-ons that we can actually use in our incident management workflows. And this is just an idea of the actual workflow that we can implement. And again, this is going to differ company by company, but generally this is the workflow of an incident and how we can tackle them. So we'll start off with an incidents reported. And you can do this in different locations using different tools. So we can potentially use Jira Service Desk in the customer portal to log an incident. We could do that within JiraOps directly. We could even create an alert within Ops Genie manually. So there are different options. To actually alert an IT team, we definitely recommend Ops Genie for that. As I mentioned before, we have on-call schedules, we have rotas there as well, and we can easily alert teams and individuals there. We can analyze and categorize the incident using Slack, and we can update customers on the categorization and analysis of the incident using status page with regular updates. Again, we can assign the issue in Jira Service Desk or JiraOps, and I'll be showing you how you can do that. And the actual investigation of the incident will be happening or can happen in multiple tools. So as I mentioned before, you can use Slack, which is the IM tool to keep on track of the incident, and you'll get all relevant updates there too. We can also collate our information around the incident in JiraOps or Jira Service Desk. And again, we can keep the customer up to date in status page. And finally, resolving and closing the issue, we can use a multitude of apps here. So obviously you'd like to keep the customer updated or customers updated using status page. We can close out the issue in JiraOps, close the alert in Ops Genie, close out the issue in Jira Service Desk, and then we can create the post-mortem in Confluence. Okay, so there's a bit of theory around incident management and just a quick overview of the tools that we can actually use. So now I'm going to be going into a couple of practical demonstrations with the actual tools. So the first demonstration, I'm going to be using Jira Service Desk. So we're going to report the incident in the customer portal. We're then going to have an automatic alert created in Ops Genie. We're going to route that to a team so that they can be notified. Then we can actually analyze and categorize in Slack. So I'll be setting up a channel there and alerting the customers using status page. I'll then be assigning the ticket in Jira Service Desk, showing you how you can investigate the issue using Slack, Jira Service Desk, and status page. And then finally, we're going to resolve and close the issue using status page, Ops Genie, Jira Service Desk. And we could potentially use Confluence for this, but I'll use that in the JiraOps example. So that's our first example that we're going to be going through, and then I'll be coming back to this workflow and giving you an idea of what we can do by using JiraOps in the workflow. Okay. So I'm going to go to my Jira Cloud site here. So I have a JiraOps project. I have a Service Desk project too. So I'm going to focus on the Service Desk project first. So I'm going to click on our project, which is Help Desk. And then I'm going to go to Channels. I'm going to visit our customer portal. And now I'm going to actually log the incident at hand. It's going to be a critical incident of the highest priority. So I'm going to go to common requests, report a system problem. I'm going to, this is a scenario, intranet is down again. Just give a summary of the actual incident at hand. So intranet seems to be not responding. Okay, so I'm going to select the system here, and all of these fields are configurable. I'm going to select intranet. It is a critical incident, so I'm going to put in highest priority. What's the impact? I'm going to say extensive and widespread. So I'm going to send this now. So I'm logging this in the customer portal. Great. So from an agent's point of view in Jira Service Desk, they now have this ticket here. Okay, so I've created an integration with Ops Genie. And again, just to reiterate, Ops Genie is the alerting system. So now we have a ticket in Jira Service Desk. And now if I go to our alert, you can see here, we have this alert that's been created. Jira intranet is down again. So there's an integration between Jira Service Desk and Ops Genie here. So if we go to the left-hand side within Ops Genie, this is a web app. We're going to go to integrations. And you can see here, there's a whole host of integrations. It doesn't just need to be, Jira Ops or Jira Service Desk. We have Azure, we have AWS, all sorts of monitoring solutions and support solutions as well. Some of them are bi-directional, some are just via email. So it's worth checking this out. There are quite literally almost like 100 integrations here. And there's also an open API that you can use too. So I have a couple of integrations here. So the first one is Jira Service Desk, which is the example that I'm showing you at the moment. So if we click on this configuration, it gives you some very good instructions on how you can actually create the integration with Jira Service Desk and Ops Genie. It's pretty simple to set up. And you can see here we have a webhook, this API key. There's also the ability to actually create bi-directional syncing too, and create some new mappings. So for example, after you've created the issue in Jira Service Desk, if we add a note to an alert within Ops Genie, we can add that as a comment to the actual issue in Jira Service Desk. And if I click on add new action here, we can see here there's a whole host of different mappings that we could potentially use. So, alert is closed, escalated, etc. It's easy to configure. It's also possible to actually create Jira Service Desk issues from alerts within Ops Genie. So let's say, for example, you have a monitoring solution connected. It's very possible to actually have the alert created automatically in Ops Genie, and then it would automatically create an associated Jira Service Desk ticket as well. Okay, so that's what it looks like here within Ops Genie. What do we need to configure in Jira Service Desk? So if I go back to our project, the help desk project here, and I go to settings, and we go to automation, we can see here that there's one extra automation. These 4 other ones are out of the box kind of automations with Jira Service Desk. There's one here called Ops Genie Alert Creation. So it's very simple to set this up. What we're saying is when an issue is created within Jira Service Desk, and the issue is of type incident and the priority is highest, we're going to send a webhook to Ops Genie and the alert will then automatically be created. So from Jira Service Desk perspective, it's pretty easy to set up too. Okay, so I talked about the bi-directional sync here, and there's one example that I've just set up here. So if a note is added to the alert within Ops Genie, add a comment to the issue in Jira Service Desk. So I'm going to go to the alert section in Ops Genie, which is very much at the top here. This is what our alert actually looks like that was generated automatically and sent from Jira Service Desk. So we have here when it was created, the issue type, the matching issue key, priority, and status. And if I want to add a note to this, you can see here, if we add the note in Ops Genie, then go back to our issue within Jira Service Desk. we'll see within the comments section here, a note was added to the alert by Steven Meadows. Here is the note, and then we have a link back to it. So there's also a panel here for Ops Genie on the right of Jira Service Desk. We have this open alert. We've got the message, the owner, source, the alert link, and associated team. Okay, so if we now go back to Ops Genie, let's see how we can actually assign a team to the alert so we can make sure that somebody's actually going to be actioning this. So, you have different options here. You can automatically assign a team when an alert is created from Jira Service Desk. So we just go back to the integrations, go to Jira Service Desk, and you see here we could potentially automatically assign a team, for example, the incident team, depending on the teams that you have set up within Ops Genie. But for this time, I just want to manually manually just assign a team to the alert. So how do we do this? This is the alert. We're going to go here under this arrow, add a team. Incident team, and now we know that the incident team is assigned to the alert. The appropriate people are going to be notified depending on escalations and the on-call schedules. So if we now have a look at our team, we can see here that this is my colleague Sean Burton. He is in this team, in the incident team, and he's currently the one on rotation. So I would then be taking over on the 4th of February, but he would immediately be notified. And he'll be notified, and you can see here why. So the first rule within this escalation policy is on-call user in the incident team, if not acknowledged, would then be alerted. So he would then be alerted via SMS or email, or you can even be called up in order to be alerted. So if he doesn't acknowledge the alert, it will be the next user in the incident team in this case, which would be myself. And then if after 10 minutes, nothing has actually been actioned or acknowledged, all members of the incident team would then be notified. So this is the beauty of Ops Genie. It's a great system for on-call rotations, alerting users, not just via email, but through SMS notifications, through telephone calls as well. And you really know that somebody's actually going to be actioning the alert and the incident at hand. So, we have here the applied escalation policy, and you can create whatever escalation policies that you'd like. They're very easy to edit. So we'll just have a quick look at this. We see here, it's very easy to add rules. If the alert is not acknowledged or it's closed, you can set up various alerts or escalation. So it's very simple to configure within Ops Genie. I just want to give you a flavor of what this app can actually do. Okay, so now we've actually assigned the alert to a team. We know that somebody's working on it. Let's go back to Jira Service Desk, onto the actual issue. And now we see that there are various workflow steps. We can go to investigate. So now we know that we're going to be investigating the issue, and you can also respond to the customer. We are looking into the issue, and then we can just click investigate. Now the customer knows that we're actually doing something about the incident, but generally that's not going to be enough. If the intranet's down, it's going to be affecting, pretty much all the people in your network potentially. So this is where status page actually comes in. So what is status page? I touched on it earlier briefly. It's an area where your customers can actually, internal or external customers, can subscribe to updates about all relevant pieces of your infrastructure, software. It's all highly configurable. So if we go to status page, which is this tab up here, this is what it would look like for a customer. So they can clearly see whether all systems are operational or not. They can see particular modules or components here. So, one example is management portal. We know that that's up at the moment. Intranet, if we look down here at the graph, we can see here that, there was a major outage. Customers are able to subscribe very easily. Just click on the subscribe to updates, subscribe via email, phone, etc., RSS feeds. So you have a few options there too. Customers can also see, past incidents, what's gone wrong previously. So it's not just the current issues that are on hand. So this is from the customer's perspective. Going back to our issue now, we want to alert all customers that are subscribed. From an admin point of view, We can also do this pretty easily. So if we go click on incidents, we can create an incident, and we're going to call this intranet down. And we can potentially type all of this out, or we can actually use a template. So if something recurs quite a bit, and especially for maintenance, generally you want to create a template, but in this case, we're going to use this intranet down template. So it'll save you time picking out your components, what stage you're at, the message that you put in there. So what actually appears in this template. So we have the title, the intranet is down. We have this incident status, right? We want to alert customers that we're looking into it. We have this message, the intranet is down and we're currently investigating the incident. We have the relevant components selected, and we're going to say that there is a major outage, and we want to make sure that all customers are actually alerted. So we're going to make sure that this checkbox is enabled. So we'll create this incident. And now from the customer's perspective, we'll see that there is a message here, the intranet is down, and they'll have a message about it, the stage that we're at. So there's a good overview there. And if they've subscribed to all updates, they'll get the corresponding email or text notification there. Okay, so if we go back now, we've created our status page. You know, how do you use Slack then to actually talk about the issue and investigate? So there are numerous add-ons to Jira Service Desk and instant messaging tools. It's not quite as tightly coupled as it is with JiraOps. But I'm just going to show you how easy it is to create a channel within Slack and how we can invite people there. So the incident key I'm going to use, HD49. I'm going to go to our Slack channel. So this is the app down here. I'm going here to channel plus, and I'm just going to say, or call it HD49. The purpose is intranet incident chat. Easy to invite people, so I'm going to invite my colleague Sean Burton here. And then I'm going to create the channel. And we see here, we now have an area that corresponds to our ticket within Jira Service Desk. And we can talk about the incident, we can invite people in here, we can share files. We have the pervasive chat history here too. So if they're co-located teams, you know, it's good to go and good to use. Okay, so obviously now we'd be working through the incident, finding out what's going on, and then you can also update status page as we go along. So let's say we've identified the issue, we can then update the actual status page and alert all of the issues. So the issue has been identified and a fix is being implemented is the message here. We can update this. And now from the customer's perspective, we have a nice little overview of when we're investigating, the time, and now we can see that the issue's been identified as well as the time. And as mentioned before, anyone that's subscribed to the updates will get this corresponding email or text message. So we'd just be going through the motions there. You know, you'd be talking with your team members using the Slack channel. You can even put in some details in the actual ticket here if it's relevant and pertinent. And you'd just be going through status page as well. So the next one would be monitoring. So a fix has been implemented and we are monitoring the results. We can update the incident. And from the customer's point of view, this is what it would then look like. So we're going through all the motions here. Okay, and then we could say, you know, after we've actually fixed the problem and we know that it's good after monitoring the fix, we can then say the issue is actually resolved. Update the incident, then it will ask us whether we should reset the particular component to operational. We're just going to say yes. And then we can go back to our customer facing page here and we'll see all systems are operational again. So obviously we'd want to actually close a ticket here within Jira Service Desk as well. So if we go to our ticket, we can just go to resolve. We can select a resolution. All of this is configurable, so you may want to put in more kind of specific resolutions here. But for the time being, we're just going to put done. We can respond to the individual customer that logged the incident. Can't spell. And then we can resolve the issue. This way then, we've alerted all customers in status page, and we've actually closed off the issue and responded back to the individual customer that actually logged the incident. So I just wanted to show you that example there with Jira Service Desk. Some of the tools aren't really centralized, and this is where I think JiraOps really comes in handy. You can centralize all of your add-ons. There's a timeline, so you can really see what's important within the actual issue that's been created. So now I'm going to move on to JiraOps and how we can actually utilize that for incident management. And I hope you actually see the benefit of it compared to this solution. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I have two projects within the cloud site. I have the help desk, which is Service Desk, and then I have this incidents project here, which is the JiraOps project. So there are currently no incidents there. I've created an integration with Ops Genie, so an alert will automatically be created within Ops Genie. So first of all, I'm just going to raise an incident within JiraOps. It's going to be the same problem. Intranet is down again. Doesn't seem to be working. And we can just create. Okay, so this is what the issue looks like within JiraOps. It looks very similar to Jira Core, even elements of Jira Service Desk. However, there are a couple of very distinct differences here. So there's this really cool feature here, Timeline, which will give us all of the relevant updates for the actual ticket. So it's not just limited to comments within the ticket. You can add manual updates here. We can also get updates from other apps such as Slack, from status page, etc. Okay, so this is what it looks like here within JiraOps. Now, Ops Genie will have another alert that's been created. So let's close the previous one and go to the next one. So again, intranet is down. We have the information here from JiraOps. We have the ID INC13 that corresponds to our ticket here, INC13. So we have some generic information there, again with the priority, the issue type, etc. And you could go through the same motions here again if you'd like to add a team. So it's very simple to do that. But first of all, I just want to go through the integration there. So we're going to go back to configured integrations. And if you remember, I set up one integration before with Jira Service Desk. So now I'm just going to briefly show you the integration with JiraOps. So this is actually created automatically if you select the Ops Genie integration when you create the JiraOps project. So again, you've got the API key here. You give it a name. There's a webhook that's automatically created. So if there's a Jira issue created or an issue is actually reopened within JiraOps, we're automatically then just going to create an alert, as it says here. And again, there's bidirectional sync here. So we have JiraOps to Ops Genie, and we also have Ops Genie to JiraOps. And it's possible to switch these off, so it's configurable too. There aren't quite as many mappings that are available as there are for Jira Service Desk and Ops Genie, but that's probably because the JiraOps isn't quite as mature as Jira Service Desk yet. But I'll just give you an idea, adding more, so we're fairly limited in what we can do here. But some of the important stuff is here. So like if we add a comment to an incident, we want that to be added to an alert. So we have the kind of I guess the important stuff mapped out here already, and there will be more coming, I'm sure. Okay, from JiraOps side, there's no integration required. You just have to hit or select the Ops Genie integration, and then this is very much set up for you. Cool. Okay, so let's go back to our JiraOps ticket. So I've raised the incident here. It's now appeared within our timeline. So what do we do now? So, as I mentioned before, you can assign the alert to a team so that they're notified again. But I think now we're just going to click the fixing transition. So up here on the right, we can go to status, click accept. And now by doing that, we're automatically assigned to the issue. So with Jira Service Desk, if you remember, we created a separate Slack channel. Now, JiraOps is really cool because you can actually create the channel and tie a channel to a specific incident. So there's some very tight coupling here. So if we go down to Slack and click on Create Channel, we can create a channel from within here. So let's just call this, intranet incident, or you can keep the actual ID of the ticket. It's really up to you how you actually want to do it. You can also invite your teammates from within JiraOps to the relevant Slack channel, and you can make sure that the channel is private if it should remain private. So let's go ahead and create that channel. Okay, so now in the intranet incident channel, we can then talk about everything that's going on. We can talk to the relevant team members and really help tackle the MTTR, the mean time to resolution. So if I show you that in Slack now, intranet incident, should give you an idea of the automation there. This is a channel that we've just created, and then we could, invite more people from the relevant teams. That's also a possibility. So we see there the advantage is we have it actually, the channel, the Slack channel, tied to a JiraOps issue. So it's very cool. Okay, so we also have an integration here with Status Page. So remember, that's the app whereby we can alert customers, internal, external customers, about what we're doing to tackle an incident. So whether there's an issue, whether we're monitoring it, whether we fixed it. So we can do that all from within JiraOps. So if I click on Status Page Send Comms, we see here no status page incident created. So let's go ahead and do that. Again, we could use a template as I have before. Make this a major outage because it's affecting everyone. We want to make sure that we send notifications out to everyone. Create the incident. And now if we go back to our client-facing page, we see again, the intranet is down. Okay, so you see that that's also centralized here. So we have an overview of the incident related to the status page, and we actually see the status of the page here. So investigating is what it's currently at. We also have the Ops Genie panel here, so we can clearly see what's gone on. So we see that the alert's open, nobody's acknowledged it yet, so that could be an issue. We can get an Ops Genie, go to our alert, go to our open alerts, click on the alert. That one was act. Doesn't look like that's updated. So there are a couple of kinks with JiraOps at the moment. Hopefully they'll be ironed out. But you at least have the summary information here of Ops Genie. Now we see it's appeared as acknowledged here. We have the message of the alert, the owner, etc. So we have some integration there with Ops Genie too. So something else that's very cool that can appear on the timeline is from within Slack, you can actually promote messages from the channel to JiraOps. So if we go to our channel, I'm just going to put in a message here. I think it's related to server YYY. We go to more actions. We can add the issue to Jira Cloud. And now we see here, this message has been added to the incident timeline for incident 13. So if we go back, we see here we have that message that's been updated. So I think that's very cool. So, it doesn't have to be every message appearing within the timeline. You probably just want to put the most important messages that your team's discussing. So there's some traceability here. And then to go through all of the other messages, we have the tight coupling of the room, and then we can just go in there and check everything out. Cool, so those are the main pieces there of JiraOps. So if we were going to fix or resolve the issue now, we can see here, everything's done, it's all resolved. And we have a new option here, which is this post-mortem. So post-mortem is basically a post-incident review. So we can really keep track of, what's going wrong. We can notice patterns within the incidents, and we can really get to the root cause of the issues. So if we go to create post-mortem, we see here, INC 13, post-mortem intranet is down again. if we click on this, it's going to take us to Confluence. And we see that there's a template that's been applied here. So there's a bunch of pre-populated information. So it gives us the time to resolve. In this case, it was just 7 minutes. We see when the incident started, ended, summary information, criticality, so severity, the incident manager. Gives us a very cool timeline view, which we can expand if we want to. And there are various other sections too. For your own particular needs, you can create a different template and put in other sections too within Confluence. So we can go ahead and publish this. And we see within our space, we actually have a parent page of postmortems, and we see there are a few that have appeared here. So we could sift through this. It's more into problem management, but we could look at recurring problems or patterns here of incidents, and then we could really get to the root cause by using this. There is some basic reporting currently in JiraOps that I believe that they're looking to improve as they release a production version, production-ready version of JiraOps. So we see here, it just gives us an incident response report, the amount of incidents that have been raised, and the mean time to resolve. So here we've actually got 8 minutes, and we see there's just been one incident that's actually been created. Cool. Okay, those are the main bits I wanted to go through. Just wanted to give you a flavor of some of the apps here. I hope that helped just give you an idea of some of the things that you can and some of the things that you can't do. So I'm just going to open the floor up to any questions that you guys have, if you have any. So just give me one moment just to review. Doesn't look like we have any questions. I do have a few common questions that have been asked previously that may be useful for you guys. So a lot of people ask whether JiraOps is going to be coming out on a server version, and the answer to that is currently no. So Atlassian believes that it's that JiraOps should be held on not within your own infrastructure in case it goes down. So currently there are no plans to actually create a server version of JiraOps. Some people also ask, is there a way to actually automatically create a Slack channel when you create a JiraOps issue? Currently you can't do that, but they are looking to actually include that down the line. You are able to request new features and improvements. Some people ask about that. So you can sign up to JiraOps now, have a look at it, play around with it. Still a very basic version, and it's free to use. There's also a public issue tracker on jira.atlassian.com, so you can go there too. So those are some of the main questions. Thank you again for joining us. If you need to get in contact with us, please just visit our website at ecor.com. Thanks very much for listening, and hope to hear from you soon. Bye-bye.